Hello friends, you are with the Lonesome Gamer, and today I'm gonna play Mage Knight, the board game, by WizKids. And this is definitely one of the most popular games, most successful games of the last years. I got a feeling that there's a lot of respect about this game in the gaming community because of the rules. Many people seem to think that the rules are terribly complicated. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. There is a lot of detail there, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to make some mistakes here and there. But overall, the rules are not too bad, and the mechanics are quite clear. The game is for 1 to 4 players, and I think it's actually better the less players are playing, because there is little interaction in this game. It takes quite some time to plan your turns. So there are more players, there might be a lot of downtime. This is one of the main critics about this game, actually. So I think for 1 or 2 players, it's really good, and it comes really with great solitaire variants. So it's perfect for playing solo. And then there is now an expansion. Came out the last weeks, called the Lost Legion, and well, that adds basically more cards, more map tiles, some more options, and also new scenarios, new cooperative scenarios. So it's even more interesting to play this game solo now with the expansion. And in this video I'm gonna play one of these new scenarios from the Lost Legion. So let's set up the game. Okay, so the game is set, and we have here command tokens, skill tokens, mana crystals. These are the remaining tiles. Artifact cards. Artifacts are very powerful items, but they're hard to get. We have here silver units that you can hire, but the silver ones are not that good. These are the gold ones. They are better, but you cannot get them at the beginning of the game. So this is the table that indicates if it's day or night. You can also see the movement costs here, and this is the so-called mana source. Here we have the wound cards. We have player aids for the cities. We have the skill tokens of the dummy player. We have here the deck of Volare, our opponent. It's actually this guy. This is the token of Volare, and this is the army that is now with him. 1 unit of a city, 1 unit of a keep, 1 dragon, and 2 orc units. We don't know exactly what kind of units these are, just the basic kind. This is a player aid for this scenario. These are player aids for all the different locations. More player aids for the skills that we can gain. Over here we have I don't know how these cards actually are called. You can determine the turn order with these cards, and the higher the number, so the higher the probability that you will be the second player in the turn order, but the better is some special ability that you can use during this turn. So if you use a 1, for example, we got that here. You have no special ability, but you can be sure to be the first one, to be the first player during this night, for example. And here we have the spells. These are the spell cards. This is the so-called spell offer. So if we're allowed to take a spell, we normally can choose between these 3 spells. And after each round, the spell offer is then replenished and it changes a little. Over here, we have these so-called advanced actions. These are cards that are a little better than our standard action cards, and you can also gain them due to training, for example. Here we have the unit offer. And this is a little bit different than the normal solitaire games, because if you play with Volare, it counts kind of an additional player. So you have 1 additional unit in the die in the source. Normally, if you play solo, you play with 3 dice, but in these Volcare's scenarios, you play with 4 dice in the source, and it's the same with the units here. Normally you have actually 3 units if you play solitaire, but with Volare you play with 4 units. This unit here is a special one. It has this red marker on it, and this unit is not it hasn't decided yet if it might join Volcare's army or maybe not. But only this one with the marker. There are actually, you can adjust the difficulty by placing more markers on these units, so that the danger is higher that his army will grow bigger and bigger during the game. And here in the end we have a special advanced action card, which is there because we have revealed a monastery, and for each monastery you place a advanced action card here in the unit offer. Over here we have some markers. Up here we have our enemies. We have here orcs, we have mage towers, we have keeps. These are basically dungeons. We have dragons, we have cities, and these are altars. And on this board here, you can see here on the left, the bigger area, that's kind of our experience points. You can basically get experience points by killing creatures, and every time you come to a new line here, you level up and you gain some bonuses when you do that. Over here, this is your reputation, and this is important if you want to interact with locals. It's normally better to have a high reputation, and you can do good things to gain more a good reputation, or if you do bad things, you lose a reputation. This is my character, Wolfhawk. She is from the expansion, and here is the miniature. You can see that here these miniatures are pre-painted like the one from the base game. So I think it looks okay. And we start here on that magic portal. This is my Deed deck. And in Mage Knight you have 16 cards in your Deed deck. 14 cards are... every player has the same cards except for 2 of them. And then during the game your deck develops, you can gain more powerful cards. And this is my starting hand. You start with 5 cards. You can see that here, this is called a command token. And you can see down here, as long as I'm on level 1 or 2, I have this command token here. And that says here on the right, that's my hand limit of 5. Okay, what's the goal of the scenario? Well, the first thing we got to do is we have to explore the map and we have to find the city. We have these tiles here. The city is on the last tile, that's for sure. And we have 2 core tiles, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 or 6, 5 country tiles. If we have found the city, we have to conquer it, and then we have to defend it against this guy. This is, I don't know, kind of a dark lord called Volare, and well, he looks pretty cool, I think. Nice miniature, and there is this click system like in the cities of the base game, so you can see how many troops he has if you change the if you adjust the number here, the level. But you can see this also in the rules, so basically it's not necessary. You can simply take a look in the rules and then place the troops here, and that's also fine. There's a little background story. He was, I don't know, he was somehow defeated and had to flee or something like that. And now he came back and he had a new army with dragons and wild orcs. And these units here, they are just the rest of his old army. So now he's stronger than before. He comes back. And but actually he didn't attack the cities or the villages or so. So he didn't do any bad things. He just waits for the Mage Knight to come, and he just wants to kill these guys. So actually it's not really sure. It's a kind of a mysterious figure. You don't know really, is he a good guy or a bad guy, or what are his intentions. So maybe in a later scenario or in a later expansion or whatever, we will learn more about that. Okay, so now the first thing I'll do is I'll take one of these cards, and these are the cards for the day here to determine the turn order. Okay, I decided to take this. It's called Rethink. That's number 2. When you take this tactic, discard up to 3 cards, including wounds, from your hand. Then draw that many cards. Shuffle your discard pile back into your deed deck. And I randomly determined for him this one, great start. That's number 5. So now we can take this as a reminder. This, well, let me see, yeah. This is my token, oops. And I will place this now up here and the other one underneath. And there is actually no token for him. So I will simply take that one, because this is also the player I got the skills from. So I will simply place this token underneath, just to remember that I'm the first player. And this card is actually not removed from the game now. Normally the cards used are removed from the game. In this scenario it isn't. So it just goes away and I can use it the next day again. My card, however, is removed after I've used that. And I think I will use this right away to discard up to 3 cards. I think my starting hand is not very good. And I think I then draw 3 new cards. Okay, so as I already said, this game has a reputation of being terribly complicated. And I think that this is not so bad. So basically you have 4 basic actions. You can move, you can interact with the locals, you can attack, and you can block, which is defending. And then there are some other special things, but that's the basic. These are the basic actions. And a turn is divided in 2 phases. You do first you do a movement phase. So you move your miniature over the board, and then in the second phase you can do an action. You could either attack or fight, or you can interact with the people that live there. And that's basically it. So now I'm thinking about 2 things. The first option would be I could actually move here and then attack this guy, fight with this guy. It's a good thing to fight these creatures, because if you kill these marauding orcs, these are these creatures with a knife, these are all marauding orcs. If you kill them, you gain a reputation bonus, and you gain these experience points down here. In this case, that would be 4 points. And as you can see here, you only need 3 points to level to the next step. So it would be a good thing. It's a good thing to fight creatures and to kill creatures, because they make you more powerful. But this guy is not exactly easy to kill. He has some special abilities. He is pretty strong, and I'm not sure if I can kill him. I have to think about that. Another option I have is I could go here, and that is a crystal mine. Oh, by the way, I use an optional rule here. I do the random tile placement. So the direction of the tiles is randomly determined. Normally, you place the tiles in a way that the stars, you can see here, there is a corner of a star, and here would be the rest. So you would place that together. But I'll place these, I use these optional rule from the rulebook, which allows me to place the tiles more randomly, but you still have to take care that the symbols are together. So it's not possible to do it in a way that there is, I don't even know if this is possible. Yeah, I could, for example, not place this corner here without a symbol in here. The symbols always have together, but they doesn't have to fit anymore. So I could actually move to this crystal mine, and here we have our player aid card, and it says crystal mines, and I can do a special action there, mining. If you end your turn on a mine, gain 1 mana crystal of the color that the mine produces to your inventory. So that might be also an interesting idea, and I have to think which is better. Okay, it was not such an easy decision. I think this guy is too strong for me now. The problem is, if I move here, there is this desert here, and it's not so great to go back because moving through the desert is quite expensive. Anyway, I will move here now first. And you can see here there are different types of terrain, and you see the big number shows how much you have to pay, how many movement points you have to pay if you want to enter that type of terrain. So in this case, we have here grass, fields, and hills. And this is these two here. So we need 5 movement points to go to that space. And now we can use one of our cards. And we have here March. And that card says here move 2, or down here move 4. And every card in this game comes with, every deed card in this game comes with these 2 options. You have, like this, you have a white option here and another option in another color down here. And the same like that, a white one up here, and in this case it's an orange one or a red one here, white one, green one, and so on. And if you play a card, you normally use the white option. So that card would give me 2 movement points. I can also activate this stronger effect down here, but then I have to pay a mana, and in this case it would be a green mana. If I want to activate the strong effect of this card, I need a white mana. Here it would be a red mana. And there are different ways to have mana or to gain mana, but one of the most common is simply to take mana from the mana source, and this is up here, these 4 dice. The problem is you can do this only once per turn. So we have here blue mana, we have red mana, and here we have these gold mana. And you can use gold mana only during the daytime. Now we have the daytime, so I can take one of these mana dice, and the gold mana allows me to choose any color I need. So in this case I choose a green color, and now this card gives me 4 movement points. But I'm not allowed to take a second die now from the source. So the card gives me 4 movement points, but I need 5 movement points to get here. And what I can do now is, with these basic actions, movement, influencing locals, attacking and blocking, what I can do is I can play any card sideways, and that gives me 1 point of one of these actions. No matter what card it is, I simply play it sideways, and that gives me simply 1 point. So now I have 5 movement points, because these 4, the sideways played card gives me 5 movement points then altogether, and now I can simply move here and then here. And now I entered this crystal mine. And now in theory I could go on and do some other things, try to attack this guy for example, but I don't want to do that because I think I'm not strong enough to do this. So now I will announce the end of my turn. So these 2 cards that I used go now into my discard pile. I have to re-roll the die from the mana source that I used. It's now a red mana, and I can place it again in the source, and in the next turn I can take 1 mana out of the source again. And then I can fill my hand up to my hand limit, so I can draw 2 new cards. That is Threaten, and the next one is again March. And then finally we can mine. If you end your turn on a mine, gain 1 mana crystal of the color that the mine produces to your inventory. So now this is a mine with blue mana, and that allows us now to take one of these crystals, blue one, and we can place that now here. This is our inventory. And that's a pretty cool thing, because this allows us now to store this magic energy, this mana, because normally you can only use 1 die from the source. But now I've got an additional blue mana here in my inventory. So I can use now 2 strong effects of these cards if I had a blue one. The bad thing is now I don't have a blue card, so I cannot use this, but there are more cards in the pile, so I will use this in a later turn probably. Okay. So that was the first turn. And now it's Volkare's turn. And we simply draw a card, and I prepared that deck. Basically the deck is contains the normal deed cards of one of the other players. It contains the 4 competitive spells, 1 of each color, and it contains 16 wound cards. And the more wound cards you have, the easier the game is. And there is quite a I can show you that here in the rulebook. You can adjust the difficulty of the game in many ways. You can see that here you have lots of tables. You can adjust the city levels, the levels of Volkare's army, the wounds in Volkare's deck, and the indecisive units. So you can do this in a way you want it to. And I did it always in the easiest way because I'm not a very good player in this game. So what we do now is we simply take the topmost cards, turn it over, and that is now a wound. So he doesn't move, he simply stays here, but we have to roll a die now. And if we now roll a red mana token, because this is red here, if we roll now the red side, then this unit will join Volare on his crusade. So let's see. That's green, so that doesn't happen. Okay, so that was Volkare's action, so we were lucky there, nothing really happened. And now it's me again, and I can now, I think what I'm gonna do now is, I'm gonna challenge this guy here. This is an orc, let me see, I think it's an orc shaman. Here we have the different enemy tokens. This is Cursed Hex. Okay. He's got a special ability. He's poisoned. So that means if I take a wound, I actually have to take 2 wound cards instead of 1. Normally, if I want to fight an enemy, I have to move on the same space as he is. But this guy is different because it's a marauding enemy, it's an orc. I don't have to move, I can simply challenge him from an adjacent space. So, and I have to figure out how I do this. Okay, so I will not move during this phase, I simply stay there. And I will challenge this guy now. So we will fight, and fighting happens in 4 phases. During the first phase, it's the ranged phase. We can do a ranged attack. And if we manage to kill the monster in the ranged phase, he cannot attack. We win the battle right away. So he's got these 5 life points, or 5 armor it's called in the game. And if we would have now if we could do a ranged attack of 5, then the fight would be over. So if we take a look now, we have here attack or block, but we don't have any ranged attack cards. And normally, you remember, you can play these cards, you can play any cards sideways to gain an additional point. So you might think, I can simply play these 5 cards sideways and then this guy is killed. But this rule with playing cards sideways applies only to these 4 standard actions: moving, interacting with locals, attacking and blocking, but not attacking, not a ranged attack, only a standard attack. So it's not possible to kill this guy from distance. So the ranged attack phase is over, and now we come to the block phase. So that means we have to block now the attack of this guy. And here, this left symbol here, the fist, that is the strength of his attack. And that is a 3. So I want to block that attack. And I can use this card here. It says Rage. It says attack or block 2. That's the basic effect of the attack. And I use that. I use block 2. And then I play this one here, March, and I play it sideways. So that gives me an additional point. So now I got a block of 3. And that means that the attack is blocked successfully. And now there would be the assigned damage phase. That's the third phase. So if I had not blocked the attack completely, I would now take the complete damage of the attack. Even if I only had, let's say for example, blocked 2, I would not take only 1 damage, but I would take always the complete damage. So either you block it completely, or you lose and take the full damage. But because I blocked, I don't take any damage here. And now after this assigned damage phase, we come to the attack phase. And this is now the point where I can attack. And I use this card here. And that says Improvisation. And here we have now discard another card from your hand to get move 3, influence 3, attack 3 or block 3. Well, actually we need an attack of 5 to kill this guy because he has 5 armor. So that would not be good enough. So what I can do now is I can activate this stronger effect. Discard another card from your hand to get move 5, influence 5, attack 5 or block 5. So to activate this effect, I have to use a red mana. And I will simply take 1 mana die, this red one. And now I have to discard another card. And this is now Threaten. Just throw that away. And now I have this attack value of 5. So I killed this guy. That's a good thing. And if you're able to kill these marauding orcs, you gain +1 reputation. So my reputation value goes up. It's still at 0, but the next one would be a +1 then. In addition, we will gain some experience points, or here it's called fame. And this is here, these 3 on this red banner. And these are the experience points I get for killing this creature. So it goes up now here, 1, 2, 3. And that means that I can level up at the end of this turn. Okay. And there's nothing else I want to do now, so I simply stop. I simply announce now that I'm finished with my turn. I will discard these cards. I can keep that one. I re-roll the die. It's again a red one. And now, again, I've finished my turn on this mine, so I will gain another blue crystal. I can never have more than 3 crystals of the same color, by the way. That's not allowed. So now, after I finished my turn, I can handle the effects of this up-leveling. And as you can see here, there is this symbol here, the upper one, which shows that I'm allowed to draw one of these advanced actions. And I can choose from one of these three actions here. So we have here the refreshing walk. That allows me to move and to heal. Down here we have the shield bash, which is basically good to block enemies. And here we have mountain lore. And that gives you also movement points, and you can enter mountains with the stronger effect, which is normally not possible. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the refreshing walk and that allows me to move 2 and heal 1, or move 4 and heal 2. So that might be a useful card. And if I gain one of these cards, I have to place them here at the top of my deed deck. So I will have that card in the next turn in my hand. And then we have to replenish these advanced action cards offer. So I draw the top card here, and that is now in need. And that helps to gain influence. And now we find here a second symbol, this one. And that allows me now to take a skill, a special skill. So I will draw the top 2 skill markers, and I can choose to take one of them. So let's see what that is. We have here here we have the player aid. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is that one. That says refreshing breeze. Once around, except during combat, flip this to get heal 1 and 1 white crystal to your inventory. Well, that's not bad. What's the other one? Know your prey. That looks a little complicated. Once around, during combat, flip this to ignore 1 offensive or defensive ability of an enemy token, or to remove 1 element of 1 enemy attack. Fire and ice become physical, cold fire become ice or fire. Cannot be used against enemies with magic immunity. Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe it's a... I'm not sure, actually. I could go completely on healing. Maybe that's a good idea. That then I could take a wound and it won't be so bad, because I have a few good healing cards. So I think I might do that, actually. That could be a good idea. So I think I will take this one. And this one goes away. I cannot use that anymore. But now I will also draw one of these from a kind of a dummy player. And this is placed in a skill offer. And the next time I'm allowed to draw skills, I could also take this one. Okay, and then I have to replenish my card. So I go up to 5 cards again. And that was my turn. And now it's Volkare's turn. Again, we turn a card. And this time it's a blue one. So what we do now is we take this player aid and we orientate it the same way as the map is orientated, so basically like this. And now if you follow the blue arrow, because it's a blue card, that indicates how the enemy moves. So he moves now simply like this. And there are no limits for him. He can enter seas or mountains, things that you could not enter. He can do this. And furthermore, we have to look at the source now, and if there is a blue die, because its card was blue, we have to re-roll that die. And that is now a white one. Okay. Okay, I think what I want to do now is I use this card here, Refreshing Walk, and that allows me to move back here with these 2 movement points that I need to move into this grassy land here, into these plains. And now I can again challenge this guy because he's a marauding orc, so I don't have to move on the same space. And we start now with a range attack phase, and he's got some special abilities. He's brutal. That's this red skull. That means if I'm not able to block his attack completely, he does twice the damage. So I would not take only 4 damage, but 8, which is quite a lot. And then this little symbol here, that indicates that there is a physical resistance. So that means if I don't have any special magic attacks like fire attacks or ice attacks, I have to do twice the damage to kill him. So I need an attack of 6 to kill him. So what I'm going to do now is, we are now in the ranged attack phase, and first I will play this card here, and that says concentration. And that allows me to gain a blue, white or red mana token. So now I can take one of these crystals here and place them in front of me. And now we come to the difference of mana tokens and mana crystals. If I gain a mana crystal, I can place it here in the inventory, and I can keep it as long as I want. If I get a mana token, I have to use it in this turn. If I don't use it in the same turn, the token goes away and it's lost. That's an important difference between mana tokens and mana crystals. So in this case I would gain a blue, white or red mana token, and I simply take a white one. Then I use this card here that says Swiftness, and I activate this stronger ability here, the ranged attack 3, with my white mana token. And then we have this card here, and it says Swift Reflexes. And there is also a strong effect that says move 4, ranged attack 3, or reduce one enemy attack by 2. So now I take this white colored die from the source, and that's my first die during this turn. So now I can also trigger this strong effect here, and I have now a ranged attack of 6, and that is enough to kill that guy in the ranged attack phase, so he doesn't get the opportunity to attack me, which is always a good thing. Okay, so I killed him, And again, because it's a marauding creature, I gain +1 reputation. And in addition, I gain 4 fame. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sadly, that's not quite enough to level up a second time, but it's quite a good start. And now my turn is over. I keep this card here. I reroll the mana die. Oops, that's a blue one. This mana token goes back here, and I discard these cards. Let's see what the General Volare does. That's another wound. So let's check if this unit joins him. If we roll a red mana, it does. That's not the case, that's golden. Okay, so I can now go up here to 5 cards. It's interesting, we have a lot of blue cards, and the cool thing is we have 2 blue crystals. So well, that might be useful. But it's not so good for fighting. I'm not so sure what to do. I could... Well... Okay, I think that's not so easy. I could move here. The basic problem is I'm thinking about moving here and then maybe attacking this Mage Tower here. But this tower is in the desert. And unlike these marauding units that you can simply challenge so that you don't have to enter their spaces, this is not possible with a Mage Tower. You have to enter this Mage Tower. And it's extremely hard to do this. You need 5 movement points. So if you normally these creatures are stronger than the marauding orcs. So you have to fight the stronger creatures, and you need to generate somehow 5 movement points, all with one hand. So this is not so easy. I'm thinking about moving here, and then if I'm adjacent to the Mage Tower, it's revealed, the unit is revealed. So that could be an interesting information. And then, maybe in the next turn, it will be night, and then you can see here this smaller number indicates that during night movement through desert is not so terribly expensive. So it could be a good idea to simply move here and then wait for the night to attack this Mage Tower. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I simply use this movement 2, and I play this card sideways. So now I've got a movement of 3, and that allows me to enter the hills, because it's a movement of 3 that is required here. And now I can reveal this enemy here in the Mage Tower. And well, these guys are pretty tough. So these are fire mages. And it's not gonna be easy to kill them. So I'm not absolutely sure what to do now. I'm thinking about moving on into this village and maybe hiring some units there. But I'm not sure that's possible. It's not so easy actually. I think I will end my round now. I will end my turn now. So I simply draw the next two cards and see what they bring, and that's interesting. Okay. So now I draw a card for Volare, and that is a red one. And that's a special card. So in this case, if you draw a red action card, Volare doesn't move, but he tries to fight a Mage Knight. So if there would be one now adjacent to him, he would fight that guy. But that's not the case, so actually nothing happens. The only thing I have to do is I have to roll one of these red dice, and that's a blue mana now. Okay, so that was his turn, and now it's me again. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is in this turn I will move to this village before I attack the fire mages. I will move to this village and try to get these peasants. So I got this great card here, Tirelessness, and I can activate this with a movement with a blue mana. Oh, by the way, these go away. I forgot that. And that allows me now to move 4. So I simply can now move here into the village. And now, during my action phase, I can interact with the people of the village. And you can see here, village, recruiting. Units with the village icon can be recruited here. I could also heal. You can buy 1 point of healing for 3 influence here. I could plunder the village. You can plunder a village during another player's turn. You can only plunder a village once between each of your turns. If you do so, draw 2 cards and you get reputation -1. I wonder if it's possible in a solo game. I'm not absolutely sure about that, but I think it is. I think it should be possible to do this while Volare is moving. Well, it might be a nice idea to do that actually, but I'm not sure. I think I won't do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to recruit some units, and you can see here in the upper right corner there is this icon for village. And now here in the unit offer we have here on the left side of each unit also an icon. That one is for a keep, this one is for a keep or village, that one is for village, and that one is for a keep. So I could hire the thugs or the peasants. And because there are some special rules with the thugs which I don't want to explain right now, it's a little complicated. And I think I'm gonna hire the peasants now. They're also cheaper. That's the main part, because here on the upper left corner you see the influence you have to generate to hire these guys. So in this case it's a 4, this would be a 5, a 6, and so on. And in addition, we have here a +1. That's my reputation. So this allows me now to hire these guys for 3 influence. So let me see, I think, yeah, I'm simply gonna do that now. I'm gonna use the Promise card. And yeah, I think I will use this ability now. Flip this. I can only use this once per round. Round means I have to go once through my whole deck. That is a round. So and this is the case now. I'm at the end of my round, so I can use this now. Otherwise it would be wasted. So I can use this, and that would allow me to heal, and in addition I would gain 1 white crystal. So I would gain that crystal, and I'm going to use that right away to activate the Influence 4 ability. So now I can hire these peasants. To hire a unit, you need to place that unit under one of your command tokens. So this thing here is a command token. At the beginning of the game, I only have 1 command token. So I can only command 1 unit. If I'd like to hire another unit now, I have to replace this one, because I have only 1 command token. When I level up, I will gain more command tokens. So I could hire more units. Okay, and just some information: the peasants have an attack or block of 2, or they have an influence of 2, or they have a move of 2. And I can activate these guys once per round and use their abilities. Okay, so that's the end of this turn. I'm going to re-roll that die. That's a green one now. Discard these 2 cards. And then I'm going to draw a card for Volare, and this is again a wound card. So he doesn't move, but we have to roll. And we were lucky here again, a blue die, so these shock troops will not join him. Okay, and now we are through our deck. There is no more card in our drawing pile, so this is now for me the end of my round. And that means that the first day is simply over. I think it was okay. I'm not sure about this. I mean, I'm not a very good player, as I said before, but I think I did fine. I mean, I killed 2 enemies, and I recruited the peasants. I have 2 crystals in my inventory. So I think after all I can be quite happy with this first day. Okay, I hope it wasn't too confusing, and I hope I didn't make too many errors. So maybe we'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.